I've got striker-fired pistols that I love, but none of them scratch the itch like a good .357 revolver, and perhaps you would regret not shooting one anytime sooner. What's up, everyone? This is Ted from Line 45, and today, let me show you the .357 revolvers that feel right in the hand, hit like a truck, and make you wonder why you waited this long. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up, and let's get back to the video. Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus. Let me start with this. Smith & Wesson. You don't buy a 686 Plus just to admire it. You buy it because you want a 357 that can handle real work without complaining. Whether it's splitting time between hot Magnum loads and soft .38s or pulling trail duty in bear country, this revolver doesn't ask for much and delivers every time. What makes the Model 686 Plus street and out is how balanced it is, not just in weight, but in purpose. You're getting a 7-shot stainless L-frame that's tough enough to run full-house Magnums for years without shooting loose. That extra round is baked into a cylinder that still fits in duty, holsters, and balances well in the hand. It's built with a full lug barrel for better muzzle control and topped with a red ramp front sight and fully adjustable rear. The Hogue rubber grips are standard, and they actually fit well for extended range sessions. It comes in barrel lengths from 2.5 to 6 inches, but the 4-inch model is where everything lines up just right. MSRP is around $950, but the market price usually lands just north of $1,000. This revolver isn't trying to be flashy. It's just consistently good, and shooters know it. That's why you don't see many of them sitting on shelves for long. Now, if you're into stainless wheel guns but want something with a more refined edge and hand-fit feel, the Colt Python is the next one you'll want to see. Colt Python, re-release model. Alright, here's the deal with the Colt Python Blued. This isn't just another .357 wheel gun. This is Colt swinging for the fences with old-school class and modern engineering. And if you're even thinking about picking one up, don't sit on it too long. Here's why. You're looking at $1,599 MSRP, but the blued finish alone is worth the double take. That deep carbon steel blue is drop-dead gorgeous, especially when you match it with those 2-piece checkered walnut grips stamped with Colt's gold medallions. The craftsmanship? Top tier. This thing doesn't just look good. It feels damn near perfect in your hands. Under the hood, you've got a smooth-as-glass V-type mainspring and a grooved blued trigger that measures around 0.26 inches at the top. Double-action pull averages 11 pounds, single-action clocks in at 5 pounds 9 ounces, and both are crisp and repeatable. It uses a transfer bar system with a frame-mounted firing pin for added safety. The cylinder holds 6 and spins clockwise like the originals, with beveled flutes and tight throat tolerances ranging between 0.349 to 0.355 inches. That means solid consistency, shot to shot. And yes, it shoots both .357 Magnum and .38 Special. Barrel's got that full-length underlug, classic vent rib, and a red ramp front sight that's easily swappable thanks to the set screw. Accuracy? At 25 yards, it'll print 2.5 to 3.25 inches with .357 loads and even tighter with .38s. And the weight, which is about 42 ounces, helps soak up that Magnum recoil. It's got the soul of the original Python with the build of a modern masterpiece. This is one of those revolvers you buy now, or wish you had when they're gone. Now let's take a look at another .357 that's heating up the shelves. Ruger GP100. You don't pick up a Ruger GP100 because you want flashy. You pick it up because you want something that'll outlast your safe, your grandkids, and probably the bench you keep it on. I remember holding mine for the first time and thinking, this isn't just a revolver, it's a statement. Ruger didn't build this thing to chase trends. They built it like a working tool, with muscle in all the right places. The frame is overbuilt. It is solid stainless steel and no side plate. Meanwhile, the triple-locking cylinder snaps in like a bank vault. Front, rear, and bottom locks. That's serious engineering. The barrel's 4.20 inches long, topped with a ramp front sight and fully adjustable rear, sitting on a full lug that helps tame the bark of .357 loads. I've shot it with 158 grain Magnums, and it holds firm, no flinch, just that deep thump you feel in your chest. It weighs in at 40 ounces, but the Hogue monogrip fits so well it feels half that. Internally, it's got Ruger's transfer bar safety and a trigger that's all business. The double action is smooth with a firm wall, and the single action is crisp and absolutely has no creep. And the takedown? No special tools, no nonsense. That kind of simplicity is part of what makes it brilliant. The fact that you can still snag one of these around the $800 to $900 mark makes it a no-brainer if you're serious about owning a revolver that'll eat Magnums all day. Now, if you want something with a little more flash but just as much pedigree. Kimber K6S Combat. The Kimber K6S Combat doesn't ask for your attention, it earns it. I spent time with one during a long afternoon on steel, and let me tell you, this revolver has no business shooting that soft while being built that tough. Everything about it feels like it was designed by folks who actually shoot. Start with the bones. This isn't cast, and there's no MIM shortcut here. Every critical part is fully machined stainless, from the barrel and frame to the trigger group, all done in-house by Kimber. The frame is compact, close to a Smith K-frame in size, but the round butt and flattened cylinder flutes keep it trim enough to carry. It weighs just 29 ounces, but thanks to that full-length underlug and unique ovate profile barrel, it stays level even with full house .357. The 4-inch barrel is a one-piece design. No funky sleeves. Just old-school straight steel that's been fit properly, which is rare these days. The trigger? Beautiful. I clocked mine at 3.3 pounds, single action, and 8.75 double. But more than the numbers, it's the feel. Smooth with zero stack and just a clean break. The sight setup is no nonsense. Steel, 3-dot, pinned front, dovetail rear, drift adjustable. Kimber even went the extra mile with a counterbore cylinder, something most makers ditched decades ago because it's more expensive to machine. And the price? MSRP is $1,046. But the street price is sitting closer to $950. You're not just buying a .357, you're getting craftsmanship that punches well above its bracket. Let's keep this wheelgun ride going. Up next, a revolver that might just surprise you with how far it's come. Ruger Match Competition. You don't need to shoot matches to appreciate what Ruger did with the GP100 Match Champion. I picked one up because I wanted a .357 that didn't need tuning, didn't need aftermarket parts, and wasn't built like a brick just for the sake of it. What I got was one of the most well-thought-out production revolvers I've ever handled. It's built off the same GP100 platform that's known for being damn near indestructible, but Ruger cleaned it up. The 4.2-inch barrel is slab-sided and stops just past the ejector rod. It balances better in the hand than the full underlug models and carries a little lighter too. The green fiber optic front sight paired with a Novak low-mount rear was surprisingly intuitive. Not flashy. Just fast. The top strap is grooved to kill glare, and it works. What really stuck with me was the trigger. Ruger polished the internals and shimmed the hammer and trigger to run true. You can feel it. The double action pull is smooth and controllable, not gritty or stagey like older GP100s. Single action? Sharp and clean. It's clear this wasn't just tossed together. Every edge has been beveled, and even the cylinder tapers slightly at the front to ease reholstering. It ships with stippled Hogue hardwood grips. Nice looking and effective, although I did tweak my grip to keep from pressing too high on the back strap. No biggie. MSRP's around $1,099, but you can usually snag one closer to $950. Worth every cent if you want a .357 built to shoot, not just sit in a case. Now let me show you a revolver that has an extra polish for punch and still holds its own. Korth Mongoose. Some guns flex hard just by existing, and the Korth Mongoose is that kind of gun. It doesn't scream, it doesn't sell you gimmicks, and it sure as hell doesn't chase the polymer crowd. It just stands in its own league, quietly reminding you that craftsmanship still matters. Now, I've handled a lot of revolvers, duty guns, beaters, tuned-up classics, but nothing feels quite like a Mongoose. The moment you cock that DA/SA hammer or roll that smooth-as-glass cylinder, you get it. This is German steel, hand-fitted, cold hammer-forged, DLC-coated, and tuned like a Swiss timepiece, and it shows in every inch. The roller-bearing trigger system? Unreal. Double action is about 8.4 pounds, and it feels like butter on rails. Single action snaps at just over 3 pounds, clean and controlled. It runs .357 Magnum out of a 3-inch, 4-inch, or even a 6-inch barrel, all with that signature Mongoose precision. The cylinder latch sits behind the hammer, which looks odd until you realize how damn intuitive it is for reloads. You can swap that .357 cylinder in seconds for a 9mm cylinder, clipless or moon clip compatible, and that alone adds real versatility. At $3,699, this isn't the gun for the price sensitive. But here's the thing. This isn't overpriced. This is the price of hand-tuned excellence. If you tried to build a Smith or a Colt up to this standard, you'd blow past $4,000 easily. You don't rush a gun like this. But if you're a revolver guy, you don't wait too long either. Let's keep it rolling with a wheel gun that delivers premium performance without the custom shop tag. Taurus 605 Defender TORO. People hear Taurus and already start forming opinions. I used to be one of them. But after tossing just under $500 at the 605 Defender Toro, it's the revolver I end up recommending the most, especially to folks who want a no-frills carry wheel gun that actually does something different. Taurus didn't just make a .357 snub. They made one with a 3-inch barrel, a full-length ejector rod, and an optics-ready top strap right from the factory. I mounted a red dot in 5 minutes. Didn't have to send it out or mill anything. It's a RMSC pattern, so you've got options. That extra barrel length makes a difference. It tames the recoil just enough to run Magnum loads without getting punished. The factory grip isn't fancy, but it fits. The trigger is workable. Honest. No surprises. The whole thing rides surprisingly flat for a revolver this compact. I keep it in the rotation because it's rugged, it's simple, and it punches way above its weight. If you know how to use it, this little thing handles business. But if you're ready to trade rough edges for smoother lines and a truly refined trigger, then the Magnum gun can really pull a lot of punches. Colt King Cobra Target. The Colt King Cobra Target isn't riding on nostalgia. It earns its place with performance that feels dialed in for real range time. When I first shot it, what stood out wasn't the name on the frame. It was how everything felt deliberately engineered, like Colt actually listened to what shooters wanted in a modern .357 wheel gun. It's a full stainless steel build with a 4.25-inch barrel and full underlug, giving it a well-balanced feel at 36 ounces unloaded. The frame and cylinder wear a brushed finish that holds up well under use without screaming for attention. Chambered in .357 Magnum with a 6-shot cylinder, it gives you plenty of stopping power without tipping into bulky territory. What makes it shine is the trigger system, which is Colt's linear leaf spring design that gives this revolver one of the smoothest factory pulls I've felt lately. Single action breaks at around 5 pounds. Double action is around 9 and change. But without the gritty stacking you get in other mid-size revolvers. The adjustable rear sight and fiber optic front are both functional and fast. The front is swappable with a simple set screw, and the rear gives you full windage and elevation control. The Altamont woodstocks not only look sharp, but they fill the hand naturally and offer solid texturing without chewing up your palm. Even the trigger guard is slightly enlarged, which makes it more comfortable to shoot gloved or barehanded in colder weather. Now, if you're looking for a revolver that completely flips the script in design and recoil control, the Chiappa Rhino 60 deciseconds will catch you off guard. Chiappa Rhino 60 deciseconds. The Chiappa Rhino 60 deciseconds doesn't shoot like any other revolver I own. That's exactly why it's not collecting dust in the safe. The first time I touched off a full house .357 through it, I caught myself blinking, not from recoil, but from surprise. The muzzle barely moved. Not some minor reduction. It stayed flat. That's what happens when you design a revolver with the barrel lined up at the 6 o'clock position, directly in line with your forearm. It looks strange for a reason. The 60 deciseconds comes with a 6-inch barrel, angular hex cylinder, and a vented top rail that'll accept an optic. But you won't need one unless you're pushing it past 50 yards. Iron sights are clear, and the front fiber optic is easy to pick up. The trigger is straight pull, cocking from a pivoting internal hammer. It looks odd but works cleanly. Single action is crisp. Double action is a bit long but manageable once you get used to the vertical stroke. Mine came with well-fitted walnut grips, and despite the futuristic look, it settles into the hand like a classic wheel gun. The weight's there. It's about 2.1 pounds unloaded, but it's distributed along the frame, so it carries better than it looks. Its price is going to sting, though. You're looking at $1,300 retail, and finding one in stock isn't always easy. But once you shoot it, especially with hot Magnum loads, it'll explain itself.